Welcome to the Celtic Legends live night in association with First Star. I'm Mark Wilson. I'll be your host or your co-host for the night. Alongside me, as a legend, Simon Donnelly.
I'm a legend, are we sure?
Well, you're a legend. I know it was put out that the legends and people thought it might be us too.
It's not.
But trust me, we've got some big names coming up tonight. I mean, really looking forward to it. We'll have some live music. We've got an auction. We've got some good stories, 5-a-side teams. It's not to be missed. Stay tuned. Coming up in the show, we've got names such as Murdo MacLeod, Jackie McNamara, Lubo Moravčík, Johan Mjällby, Frank McAvennie.
Fantastic names, Willow. Martin O'Neill, the King of Kings himself, Henrik Sutton, wow. John Hartson and Paddy McCourt.
Brilliant. Don't miss it. So stay tuned. But look, we're all in lockdown just now. We're sitting in on a Friday night. What else have you got to do but sit back, get a beer? Let's liven it up with a few tunes for David McKendrick, who will be at the Hydro with First Star come next June. He's always at Celtic Park, Sid. He's a big Celtic Park.
Yeah, that's how I met him. Plays in the lounges, fantastic. And he's going to entertain us tonight.
Here he is, David. Take it away.
Well, I was raised on Celtic, her history and pride. With my culture and my faith, I wear the green and the white. I've travelled the paths where generations walked and read of the legends who played at Celtic Park. I've tasted victory with this famous club, and I've drowned my sorrows in many an Irish pub. When I walk with pride down Parkhead Way, at my father's side I watch a Celtic play. I'm such a lucky man today to be brought up in this world, this Celtic way. And I was raised on Celtic, the history and pride. With my culture and my faith, I wear the green and the white. With my culture and my faith, I'll always wear the green and the white. With a 4-leaf cloak on my breast, and the green and white upon my chest. It's such a joy for us to see, for to play football the Celtic way. The work is done, the stage is set, the Celtic dream can now be met. You'll see our dreams, we're here today to sit and watch the champions play. With a 4-leaf clover on my breast, and the green and white upon my chest. It's such a joy for us to see, for to play football the Celtic way. McAvennie Road, the winds have changed, and the things he brought will long remain. A phoenix rising, a house of steel, and 60,000 Celtic dreams. With a 4-leaf clover on my breast, and the green and white upon my chest. It's such a joy for us to see, for to play football the Celtic way. The work is done, the stage is set, the Celtic legends will now be met. In a sea of dreams, we're here today with Willow and Donnelly. In a sea of dreams, we're here today. Mark Wilson, Simon Donnelly.
Like over to you boys, the show.
Magnificent, baby! Woo! Unbelievable.
Brilliant, Davey.
All the years, that's the first time I've been mentioning a Celtic song.
Me too.
Unreal. Well done, Davey.
Brilliant, Dave. How you doing, mate? Aye, good stuff. Looking forward to playing at the Hydro in June.
I cannot wait. I'm really looking forward to it. Yep. And a wee mention there as well, just to show my appreciation to First Star for this wee gift that they gave me for taking part in the advert. I think, understandably, all ex-players who took part in the advert were given a bottle of gin. Is that right, guys?
Hold on a minute. Hold on.
So
Must have lost my address.
Willow, did you get yours in the post?
I think
thanks, guys. Looking forward to the Hydro. We'll hear more about that later on, I'm sure, as well. Cheers.
Super.
Brilliant. Well, there'll be more of that, guys, later on with Davies. He's some performer. But listen, before we go any further, we've got guests all night. Just need to mention the auction right away. So if you go to www.jumbobee.co.uk for Star Celtic Legends, so that is www.jumbobee.co.uk/First Star Celtic Legends. There's some amazing prizes on there, Sid. Got the likes of Larsson, Lennon, Moravčík, Scott Brown. Somebody even said you might have sneaked a signed photo on there. So that might raise a few quid. But listen, get on that, see what prizes are, get bidding. Fantastic auction. So that'll be running until Sunday, I believe. All right.
Superb.
All right. Coming up, first two guests. Absolute crackers, absolute legends. The men behind First Star, along with yourself, we've got Murdo MacLeod and Jackie McNamara. Thanks for joining us, guys.
How you doing?
All right, guys. How are we?
Good. Yourself?
All good.
Good start.
All good. All good, guys.
Great start with Dave there. Tremendous.
Gets things livened up a bit. Guys, we'll just go straight to the company. First Star. Look, it's put on this great night. You've got another big one with a Hydro coming up. I mean, that's going to be an absolute cracker. But take us back to the start. How did it come about? First Star with yourselves. You've got you, Simon, Murdo involved in it. How did that get started?
I think a lot of the lads,
I think
done some gigs from the different companies, and we all kind of got together.
Murdo going to come in there?
Yeah,
Murdo, put some money in that meter, that internet meter, mate.
No.
Or that cash you made in your career. On you go, Jackie. What were you saying there? So you all got together?
No, I think over the last few years, a lot of the lads have done different gigs all round, and I think we just decided to get all the guys together, you know, with the contacts, and had a share some memories and get everybody together again, which has been great so far.
And Sid, what would you make it? You've got a lot of things in the background. You've got the bar as well, but I know that's not the same. But I mean, First Star, it all comes together. It's a great company you've got. You've got the gin out, as I said, the Hydro. Must be exciting times.
It's fun. That's the thing about it. Well, it's a bit of fun. We've did some gigs last year. We toured, taking boys like Lubo to Spain. Stan Petrov, George Cadet, we worked with big Johan Mjällby. All the boys have been great. It's great to actually meet up with them again. You know, you're long finished your career, so it's good to meet up with the boys, see them, get a bit of a chat, and put on some shows. The fans love it. We've been lucky enough to have some big names. You know, we did a big event with Henrik last year, a big one with King Kenny.
Aye, I would say that one. That was brilliant.
They were fantastic. I mean, I was sitting with Kenny, was my idol. I sat with him at the dinner. Things that you normally wouldn't do. And obviously with this Hydro one, you know, obviously everything that's happened this year, having to put the Hydro back about 3 or 4 times, hopefully it's just whetting the appetite for everybody. I think we're selling tickets really well. It's going to be a fantastic night. Huge names. We'll see the boys later on in the show. A little taste of that. The chemistry between the three was great. Martin O'Neill's obviously going to be at the gig as well.
Just on the Hydro, mention the Hydro. Some of the names, you know, you've always got the big hitters. Henrik Larsson, Chris Sutton, John Hartson, Martin O'Neill, Stan Petrov, Johan. You know, Graham Hunter's going to be involved in some of the interview process. I'm sure there'll be other ex-Celtic players there. You've got David in the music. I mean, what a night that's going to be, guys.
It's going to be a great night. It's going to be a great night, and we've done well to tie it all in. As I say, we've had to be patient. You know, I think we've rearranged it 3 or 4 times, but I'm sure it'll be a great night when it comes round. And obviously we'll be there to watch it and enjoy it.
And the other one as well, guys, Jackie or Murdo, was the Weekender abroad that's had to be put back as well, where I mean, that was pretty much sold out. You must be looking forward to that in the summer if it goes ahead as well.
Is Murdo there? You there, Murdo? No, I think the weekender was...
I'm struggling a wee bit. It's talking about the weekender.
Yeah, Murdo, the weekender.
So I'm really disappointed. Obviously, the build up to the weekender, we had a lot of people going out to Spain for a fantastic weekend, and then all of a sudden you heard one or two football matches being postponed throughout Europe, and then all of a sudden it's a crash. Everyone had to just pack their bags and stay in their own house. But I'm sure at some point we'll get a weekender organised and we'll have a fantastic time.
That'll be amazing. Amazing time. But so you've got that in the weekend. But I mean, everything's going well. The gin as well. So, you know, great things to get involved in there. Guys, on to more pressing matters and current matters now. The actual Celtic team and what he's making this season. Murdo, we've had you on and chatting on it a few times. But Jackie, what's your thoughts on how things are going for Neil Lennon and the Celtic side this season?
Yeah, it's been tough. I think listening to Neil's comments there about the players missing the fans, and I think that really is the case. You know, especially the games they've lost at home. Last night again was quite disappointing. The result, performance wasn't too bad, but you know, I think they can only get better. You know, I think he's missed some players through injury. Julian just came back. I think he's missed Forrest quite a lot. You know, and I think it's shown in the games that they've not gotten. I think they just need to get that momentum back. You know, I think he needs to get the team back, a winning team, settled team that hopefully can sustain a good run.
Yeah, see the overall picture. I mean, the amount of goals Celtic have lost in the last 10 games. I mean, everybody points a finger at the goalkeeper, the back four. What do you make of that? Do you think that's unfair? Should it be more widely spread as defensively, the criticism, or do you think it's purely down to the individual mistakes, the goalie or a centre-half's mate?
I think most of the mistakes have been individual, to be honest. Yeah, you know, that they've lost quite a few set pieces again. One last night, disappointing how they've lost that. The Rangers game, the first goal was set piece, just people not doing their jobs. And I think Neil's changed the system a few times and personnel. I think just try to get the right balance and the right team that will have that consistency. And I think that's the biggest thing for them, is getting consistency.
But do you think, Jackie, see on that, I mean, you were a manager and successful, you know, at Dundee United, and you went through hard times. Would you constantly change the system to try and figure something out, or would you be comfortable with a system at the start of the season and stick to it?
Yeah, you'd be comfortable with a system to start, but you know, players missing through COVID or injury or everything else dictates, you know, how you play and how you want to play. And Neil will be looking around and what players does he trust to put out, trust to do the job properly. And I think that's been the biggest issue for him. You know, he's changed quite a few players over the last sort of month, and the shape as well. So, I mean, the players are good enough. They just need to get that confidence back and get back to clean sheets, because they're capable of scoring goals.
Mm. And what about, listen, some of the players, touching on them, I know the manager always takes a fall, and listen, we've all suffered it at different levels. I mean, Sid, me and you, didn't think a couple of weeks ago up at Elgin?
I just said to you, if you turned to me on the bench at Elgin City and said we'd be hosting this show, I thought you'd be mental. But here we are.
Well, we might get sacked after this as well, so there you go. But I mean, you know the pressures managers come under, Jackie, and Murdo as well. Is it fair that the manager always gets the flack, or do you think, look, the players have got to take some stick? I think it's well documented. It's a collective effort, but surely some of the players' performances this season have been under par. You can't hide that, can you? Yeah,
the manager, unfortunately now, it falls on the manager. I think, you know, can you go with this? Sorry.
Go on, Murdo.
I'm Jackie, obviously, anything that goes wrong with the team, it's always going for the manager. It's not players. The players have got good long contracts and all that, and they're going to stay at the club. But when the manager's under a wee bit of pressure, that's when you're hoping your best players stand up and be counted.
Aye, and that's a problem, Murdo. I mean, we all know Celtic have got a top squad, good enough to win and go on a long run, but the players that Brendan Rodgers and Neil Lennon have counted on for years just aren't performing at the minute. There's no other way of putting it, is there?
Yeah, it's really strange watching the team playing just now. No, even last night when you're watching the game with really good spell in the second half and you thought a chance to get back into the game, and then you're watching the players, but you just felt it was like watching the game at Celtic Park again. The way that Celtic pushed forward and left themselves short at the back, and they had quick players up front and caused all sorts of problems. So it was really difficult, but it's not acceptable when you're getting 4-1 at home, 4-1 away from home, and that's not acceptable. But as you touched on, Mark, it's all about the players. If your players are not doing what you want, then you're under pressure.
Yeah. And Jackie, last night and this morning, the Celtic board again backed Neil Lennon, backed him strongly, really supporting him. Is that something you agree with? Because there is a lot of criticism out there saying, great servant to the club, he's done brilliant, but now it is time to go. But the Celtic board have other ideas. What do you think?
No, I think it was right. I was asked this last week. Yeah, the back him, or if you're not going to change it, and they have, and that's what was needed. It gives Neil a bit of confidence, and he's got that belief that they're going to back him just now, and the players see that as well. So hopefully the reactions there. It is difficult, I think Neil said it is difficult when you lose a certain amount of fans, but the only way to get them back is by winning, and winning well.
That's the thing, Sid. That's what he needs. He needs a run of games now that's unbroken. Yeah. Just continuous win after win.
I said it on Tuesday when we did the podcast. Results will dictate, Neil's future. Celtic need to start winning games and winning games quickly. There's been little signs that it's almost as if they're taking a couple of steps forward and 4 back. They get a great start last night in the game. A real well-taken first goal. You think that's a shot in the arm, but then, as Jake's saying there, individual errors. All of a sudden, same as Easter Road at the weekend, all of a sudden you find yourself trailing in games and chasing games. So, yeah, as I said, results dictate. They've got a League Cup game at the weekend. Hopefully they can keep that run in domestic cups going. And, you look at the next 4 or 5 games before the Rangers game at the turn of the year, they should be going and taking maximum points. They have to.
See, this season, as a season, like no other, we all know that. You guys were involved in one of the most iconic seasons in Celtic's history, if you like. Aye. I mean, Murdo, what was that pressure like? I mean, we all know these players are good enough. They've shown time and time again. But the weight of winning 10 in a row, in a 10-in-a-row season, must be greater than any season. You said at the flip side, what was that like with him? What was the pressure like back in the 10-in-a-row season? Must have been tough.
Time delay.
It must have been tough. He's absolutely astonished by it. That picture tells a story. Jack, what about you? I mean, you were listen, you were there. The pressure surrounding these players, on these players' shoulders, different side of it for you. But how did you feel every single week knowing that you can't slip up?
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure. I think, we knew with certain games, you're looking around as soon as the game's finished to see the other scores. It was a tough season, yeah, 100%. I think looking at it compared to things now, with the social media and everything else, the way the pressure it's on the players, it's a lot harder. I think you get it from every angle. But it's one of the things, to handle it. Being at Celtic, you need to handle certain things on and off the park.
Think it's easier or harder, Jackie? Easier or harder? Easier winning 10 in a row as a current crop, or is it harder? Was it harder for you guys stopping it?
I mean, it was hard for us to stop because Rangers were a really good side. They had quality of the Gascoignes, like up to quality right throughout their team, and they'd been on obviously that 9 in a row before it, and trying to stop that. So they had the momentum. For us, I won my first trophy that season, the League Cup, that gave us a real lift to go on and help us win the league.
And what about, listen, you must have had some camaraderie in that season, did you not? I mean, we all heard the stories about the Rangers team, always drunk together, team that drinks together, wins together. But I've heard some stories that you boys were pretty tight that season as well. Was there? Must have been a few stories.
We were tight. It was a good group there, and considering we had 7 or 8 new signings at the start of that season.
Stubbsy, Burley,
Henrik.
They like United.
Aye. All the boys adapted to it. But Burley liked a night out. You kidding me on?
Did he ever stay in?
Get him in. But no, when it was time to work, we worked. And, when we went out, we had a good time together. And it does develop bonds that you take onto the pitch and friendships, to this day. That was probably the tightest dressing room I was in my career in terms of what we achieved together. Obviously, is a special thing. And the social was good as well. We went out and there was a lot of camaraderie.
The social in the tune. The actual place. Murdo, what did...
It was TGI's.
Murdo, what did you and the coaching staff, what did you and Wim think about that?
They didn't know anything about that.
Did they not know? No.
I don't know. You tell us, Murdo.
Well, they kept it quiet for so long until I can't remember who it was, but they let it slip that they enjoyed their night out last night, and I'm listening to them and going on about it. But again, it's one of the things you've got to do when you're a football coach and you're in there. The players are bonding together and they've got a target. You're talking about what's the hardest thing, being in front to win it or chasing after it to stop it. And it was very difficult, the players under. But I felt chasing it early on. Obviously, we lost our first couple of games and everybody's thought or shouting about sacking the manager again. But the big problem was just getting on a good run. And as soon as we started, I think we beat St Johnstone twice in the League Cup and then in the league or vice versa. And once that happened, everything seemed to bond together. And it was just the team, and they all fought for each other. But as he always said, they enjoyed a drink together, and that was great because Vim didn't know much about it, but he knew these things had gone behind his back and all that kind of thing. But he knew it was good for the team spirit, and that was the most important thing. You get a team spirit, and that's what's missing at the club just now, I think.
I was just about to say, yeah. Do you think that's what's missing? Because it seems like there's the game now. It's all different nationalities. You wonder if the bond the same. It's very difficult to go, obviously because of COVID anyway. But you wonder if they socialise the players the way they used to.
I think it's really strange now. I don't think you get the same bond that you had before. Yeah. I think it is hard, even with the language, Jack, and all these kind of things. But when you've got a whole squad and all the foreign players could all speak really good English, so it was a great help for everyone at the club at that time.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, listen, guys, thanks very much for joining us. It was great seeing you again. Great hearing your opinions on the current side, and great to hear from you in relation to the weekender, the gins, and the big one, really, the Hydro gig coming up in June, as it said?
June the 3rd.
June the 3rd. Yep. So what a night that's going to be. Guys, great talking to you. Speak to you again soon.
See you, boys. See you later.
That was great. Two actual legends said, well, you played under them, but it's good for me when I was a fan, sitting interviewing them now.
Apart from Murdo's connection problems, yeah.
He's still on the old dial-up, isn't he?
That's the way it goes.
Aye, but look, we chatted about the gin there, and I don't know, people might have seen it in social media, but you were working on an advert that was, I seen it, it was magnificent. We got the one and only Frank McAvennie and a few of the boys in it. I think it's only right. Should we go and play it just now? Show everybody it?
Aye, why not?
On we go. Let's go for it.
It's such a joy for us to see what they play football the Celtic way. It's such a joy for us to see what they play football the Celtic way.
He's a first-class gin, Mr. McAvennie.
Thank you very much, John.
There you go.
First original gin, one and only. Pass it on.
Cheers, Macca. You're looking sharp. First Star Legends gin, eh? Superb. Let's get a wee sing-song on the go. Grab the gin and pass it on. Hail, hail,
oh, First Star Gin.
Brilliant, thanks. Aye, that's lovely. Pass it on. First Star Gin. Hail, hail.
First Star Gin. Pass it on.
First Star McAvennie Legends Gin. Pass it on. Ooh, thank McAvennie.
I wear the green and the white.
Frank McAvennie in a bottle.
You've heard about the four-leaf clover. It's the
First Star Gin. Hail, hail.
Oh, why, thank you. My gin's the real number 9 Macca, and you know that. Get it up here. Pass it on.
Ooh, First Star Gin. A bit of Sutton. Oh, some of that.
Hail, hail. Hail, hail.
Oh, Chris Sutton Gin.
I wear the green and the white. With my culture.
Hello guys, look at that. First Star Gin, Lubo style. Pass it on. First Star Gin. Hopefully get a couple of these in the old Christmas stocking.
Hail, hail.
Our lullabies and battle cries and songs of hope and joy. You join us hand in hand. All across the same.
Lubo, you heard him just on the pitch. My gin, the Mjällby gin, is superior.
That kept our spirits free. Those songs of yours and mine. It was music.
The Mjällby gin.
Our spirits free.
The Mjällby gin. Pass it on.
First Star Gin.
Oh,
Used to 10.
his name is McNamara. He's a Celtic boy right by. He's 40 years his talent.
First Star Gin. That'll do.
You Jackie McNamara and the hoops of white. His name is McNamara. He's a Celtic boy right by. He's 40 years his talent. Defense to attack.
4-star gin down here in Spain. Absolutely lovely. Cheers, lads.
1 Star Gin, perfect.
The Celtic dream can now be met.
Very nice.
In a sea of dreams, we here today.
First Star Gin.
Let's go and watch the champions play with a 4-leaf clover.
McAvennie, First Star Gin. Pass it on.
Upon my chest, it's such a joy.
What a night that was. Beautiful gin.
But they play football the Celtic way. It's such a joy for us to see. But they play football the Celtic way.
What a laugh that was. See, trying to film that. Surreal. So we were at the Doubletree. We'd come up with the idea to get Mac in the tux, as if he's going for a night out. He's
That couldn't have been hard.
He's liked a few of them in his time. I've turned up and we had first class transfers as our sponsor. They provided the vehicle for us, so we're all there. And I phoned Macca, no answer. So I began to panic. He phones right back. I forgot. I says, I was doing the podcast with you on Tuesday. I reminded you on Tuesday. How could you possibly forgot?
Forgot the advert for his own gin.
He says, can we do it another night? I'm saying, everybody's here waiting.
What was he up to?
God knows. God knows. So I says, we need you in the suit. So, in fairness to him, he turns up 30 minutes later, one take, swaggers into the car, delivers the lines. It was a good laugh.
I'm going to say, he's hardly on Braveheart and having to learn loads of lines, is he? He just walked in and took a drink of gin.
He was looking sharp, though.
He's always looking sharp, Macca. But the gin looks brilliant. So
the gin's great. It was a wee creative idea that we came up with. The guys have put their names to it. Fantastic flavours. A perfect gift. You know, the link's on the screen there for the Shopify link. A perfect gift for Christmas. But yeah, it was a lot of fun making that little video, and a few familiar faces in that video as well.
Brilliant. Aye. Listen, just mention the gin for Christmas. For Christmas, the auction, up and running. It's open to Sunday. The Gleesh pictures, bids going well in them. Lubo boots going well. Larsson shirt as well, going well.
Decent.
Get on the website, Sid. We've had shit all for your picture.
My mitre boot. It's my left one. It's my left mitre boot.
Listen, somebody bid a sympathetic one for Sid's boot. But listen, back to the gin. And that one guy who's got his picture on there and got his own gin, the big man, the big gorgeous Swede, Johan Mjällby. Johan, how you doing?
Good evening, my friends. How are you?
Good. How are you, Johan? You okay?
You been on the sunbed, big man? Can't it be that sunny in Sweden?
I haven't. No, it's freezing. Absolute Baltic. I can't even play golf anymore.
Baltic.
It's rotten.
You shouldn't be playing golf with that dodgy knee you've got anyway.
I know, Mark. But, I do my best.
Tell me you've got one of these gins poured just now.
Yeah, I have. Actually, I didn't want to stop too early, but usually I start, after 5 o'clock, 5 p.m., have a wee sip of the apple and rhubarb proper smooth gin. Because I'm really,
he's promoting it really well there, and he's pushing his own gin there.
Boys, I'm really proud to put my name on the label and being one of the gins, legends. Obviously, all of them, the rest of them, Frank, Lubo, and Chris, they're all goal scorers. But you can't build a team with only goal scorers. You need someone that can defend, and I'm the one.
Exactly. What a plug that is, eh? Get that recorded.
All the defenders.
I'll expect my gin to come out soon as well, Johan.
Brilliant.
Listen, big man, we chatted to you a couple of weeks ago, and you gave your thoughts on Neil. He's a close mate of yours. What are you feeling just now? Are you feeling for your mate just now? The pressure's on him. The results not going his way.
Yeah, man. First of all, the pressure is always going to be on if you're a Celtic manager. Neil is obviously used to it. He's been there before. He was there as a player. He's a Celtic legend. But obviously, this is something new for him because obviously it's a special season. It's a chance to make history 10 in a row. And the signs are not good right now. I mean, we have to be honest. The run now for the last 9 games has not been good enough. The shipping goes right, left, and center. It's not been strong enough, and obviously going, the balance not been right. So it's worrying signs. Obviously I work with Neil. I really, really respect him. I love him to bits. But if they don't change this run, something needs to happen. I hope they're going to start winning now because they can't lose any more ground in the league anyway.
Yeah. Listen, I agree with that. Look, now that you've got a few gins in you, tell us honestly, what's going on defensively? You took us, as a defensive kind of part of coaching, you took us down one half. Lenny worked with the strikers, but you drilled us as a back four, the two defensive midfielders in front of us every Thursday. And we own your jobs. But just now, it just doesn't look like that's happening. I mean, what do you think? What you pinpointing the problem at just now, defensively?
Yeah. First of all, maybe that was a wee bit old school, what we did in a way. I think it still works. I think it's good to obviously, to let every department work with each other. It's that, like, the strikers are not always going to be able to work with defenders. Sometimes you have to put the defenders aside and do a wee bit of old school work, we're putting crosses in or working 1v1 and stuff like that, 2v2 and get it all together. I just think, Celtic will always be such a wonderful attack-minded side. We all know that. That's the way we want to play the football. But if you don't have the balance right, if you can't defend when it matters, then you are, in trouble. You won't win any trophies. And right now, I think the goals they are conceding, though, it's probably quite difficult to pinpoint, what to do on the training pitch, because it's easy to say if it is mistakes by, the back line, the whole back four, or back three or back five. Doesn't matter how you play, If you are making mistakes, if you're in the, position-wise, if you're in the wrong position, then it's easy to fix. But now it's just, in a little mistake, it's mistakes by persons that it's not been there before. I think, though, obviously Christian Julien coming back, it's going to be a bonus for them. I think that's going to strengthen the back four anyway.
Johan, you let us just now. You're watching it as a fan. You're frustrated, like us all. It's been a really tough watch the last little stretch for Celtic. What would you give to be in that dugout helping Lenny just now?
Yeah, I mean, I had 10 years at Celtic, 6 as a player, 4 as an assistant manager. It was brilliant, great blast. But it's a lot of responsibility as well. You need to do your job. You need to obviously to be. It's a team, though. Obviously, Neil is the manager, like it is right now. He's the man in charge. He's the one obviously making the final decisions when it comes to the starting 11 and different stuff around training. But when you work together, you need to obviously be able to obviously tell Lenny, right now, I'm not thinking we're doing the right things or we should do this. And you need to be strong enough to do that, I have no idea what's going on anyway when it comes to that. I think Neil is a very strong manager. He's been in the game for a long time. He's got a lot of experience and he's got his backroom staff. Even if it's always going to be the manager who gets the blame, it's it's teamwork as well. And right now, obviously, the team is not delivering. We can all see that.
Listen, comments coming up. On you go, Johan.
Politically wise, of course, who would say no to work with Celtic? It's a wonderful club, and like I said before, I had brilliant 10 years there.
Oh, that's an exclusive. Get the big man in. I'll be surprised if I don't see you in the dugout at Ross County on Sunday. Listen, loads of comments coming in the side here. Me and Sid are reading them. A few of them don't want you in the dugout. A few of them want you to play and go back into central defence. Aye. I mean, unreal love for you, big man.
It looks as if he can still play. Look at it.
He does, aye. I know. He's always, I said in the podcast when we used to go up the gym, and Johan was the guy that spent the most time in there squatting. I know. But no, listen, loads coming up, and I think it's unfair. I mean, I mentioned to you there, Johan, about you taking us defensively. Yeah. And a lot's been labelled John Kennedy, what's John Kennedy doing? But I think you touched on it. The game isn't quite like it was, is it, 10 years ago? It's unfair to label a defender in the coaching staff defensive coach only.
Yeah, obviously, I think, John, he worked with Brendan Rodgers, which probably, he works a little bit differently than Neil. I think Neil has changed, though, since I worked with him. I think he's involved in more, or likes a bit more shaping in training. But obviously, what I've heard, and hear that they are doing a lot of shaping, like Brendan Rodgers like to do, and it's fine. This generation, there is obviously evolved after us, even you, Mark. Obviously, they're used to. I mean, they're used to more. I don't want to put it in a negative way, but they're more used to like PlayStation. They're used to be told what to do wherever they get the ball. So they're not as used as we were, all of us, to make our own decisions on the pitch. Sometimes it's not going to be like a PlayStation in the real football world. Sometimes you have to make your own position because opponent is going to be in your way, or your teammate is not going to be in the position. You need to make your decision. Nowadays, it's like they want to protect themselves a wee bit, the players. They need to be told what to do all the time. And football doesn't work really that way, even if, it changed times.
Yeah. Just got a comment there, Johan. Mary MacArthur. Big Johan and Julian as our centre halves. What do you think about that? Good partnership.
I would say I'm still fit now.
I'm telling you that.
I only got one leg though. You know that. My knee is just rotten to the core.
He's just in a serious operation, didn't he, a couple of weeks ago, the big man. Johan, see, obviously moving forward, we're doing this hydro gig. You're coming over June the 3rd. We did a wee bit, which we're going to see. We're going to see later in the show with the strike force, Sutton, Hartson, and Henrik. Tell us a wee bit about the dressing room with those guys, because I watched the 10 minutes we did the other day with them, and the chemistry was fantastic. There's a right good bit of banter between them. I actually whet my appetite for the hydro. So tell us about the three boys.
What do you want to know? I don't want to obviously say too much because I'm going to be there, hopefully. I just miss Glasgow. I've not been in Glasgow for 9 months. That's unbelievable. That's the longest since I was born.
We'll make up for it in June the 3rd, mate. We'll make up for it.
No, seriously. Obviously, Henrik is the guy I know. Obviously, the best of the three. Obviously, playing with him for Sweden, and obviously staying in contact. After we both retired and everything. He was just the ultimate. He is the ultimate professional. Absolute fantastic player, the best player I've ever played with. There's no question about that. He not only being this superb goal scorer or attack-minded player, but he worked so hard for the team. Fantastic guy. And like I said, he was always looking after himself. As a player, that's why he's still so fit. He can probably still play. Chris, the brand big new pundit over UK. No, I've actually been fortunate to work with him, for BT last year. I think he is brilliant at his job. He's very provocative, which is obviously his role. He's always been. You need to know Chris really close. Otherwise, you get a little bit threatened by him, because you don't understand him, really, But as soon as you get to use him, he's a great guy. What a player he was. He could play anywhere on the pitch, even as a centre half. He was great as a centre half. I loved, having him, to as a target, just on his chest or in the air, absolutely fantastic. And John. Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
No, I was going to give you another one of your comments here. Is it Kieran Duggan? I think he's related to you. Big Johan with one knee is as good as Van Dijk. I think you said, I just seen that flash up in the right here. I'm thinking this guy must be related. There's no way.
He must be drunk.
You're with a bad knee just as good as a fit Van Dijk.
He's been on the Johan gym.
Sorry, big man. I just wanted to say that. And what are you saying about John?
Yeah, Big John, obviously. Big John, for being such a, big burly guy, on the pitch, silky feet, great goal scorer. He was unbelievable in the penalty box, in the opposition penalty box. Obviously, he wasn't as professional when it comes to looking after himself as Henrik, but that's another word. I love John to bits. I'm sorry, John.
see just in Henrik, Johan. On Henrik, used to were lucky enough to play alongside him. I remember the day. You remember this, Johan, when Henrik came in to training when Neil was the manager, and it was a Friday.
Yeah. I remember.
You remember that? I know, I'm not joking. I was like a superstar had walked into the place. Now, we're playing for Celtic. We're going for the league. And Henrik walks in and, you're big name players. Trained. Played young v old. So the old team, I was in the old team at that time, was Johan, Lenny, Henrik, myself, and I think there was a few other ones in there. But we were in awe. It looked like he could still play, Johan. He was unreal. He was fit as a fiddle, even back then. Unreal. It must have been great to play with him in his pop.
Oh, wow, what a play, But his movement, for being, quite small, he was absolutely phenomenal in the air. His timing and his leap. Wow. And obviously Sid knows all about him, It's a fantastic striker.
Some great goals with his head. Yeah, some great goals with his head, I remember, now there's wee clips on social media on this day, such and such, but when you watch, I think there was a 2-minute stretch went up on Twitter at one point. It was Henrik's goals, and you forget how good. You look at some of them, and particularly with the head. A lot of headers.
Frightening. Johan, the best player you've ever played with. Did you play with Ibrahimovic? Did you play with Ibrahimovic?
Yeah, I was actually the skipper for Sweden, in the World Cup 2002, and Sutton. He was in the squad. He wasn't in the starting 11. We all knew that he would become a fantastic player. Not as good as he turned out to be. You could see the signs already. But when he was 21, he was good. He was talented, but he was quite. He didn't really know what to do all the time. Obviously, he wasn't making the right decisions all the time, But obviously, we knew he would become a really, really good player. But I have to say, I didn't think he would become as good as he has. What a career. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Listen, you've played with some good ones, but that must have been some strike force, City.
It's not a bad one, is it?
Ibrahimovic, Henrik Larsson. Unbelievable. No wonder you looked good. No wonder you didn't concede that many goals, big man. Everybody was concentrating. Listen, big man, it's been brilliant chatting to you again. I hope you go and enjoy that gin. We won't keep you on too much longer, but I'm sure, everyone's looking forward to seeing you back in Glasgow in the summer. I'm sure you're looking forward to it too. Good man, Johan. Cheers. Speak to you soon.
See you, Johan. See you, big man. Cheers.
What a guy, yeah. What a guy, Johan. It's unreal.
He's definitely had a couple there, hasn't he?
No, he's some man, Johan. I loved Johan as a coach. He was terrific. He brought players down to earth, and
he came in. His first game was when we beat Rangers 5-1. He came in, actually played in the middle of the park. I think it was him and Lubo's first Rangers game.
That's right. I was there. I was at
that game.
Aye.
And he was phenomenal. Middle of the park. Again, somebody who I'd never really known till he came to the club. But what a servant for Celtic. What a defender.
He's not a bad looking big guy as well, is he? Jesus Christ.
You should see the picture actually it's cutting about social media with him. He was modelling for Armani. Have you seen it?
What? He's not that good looking.
I'll send it over to you.
Move on. Let's go.
Armani underwear.
Jesus. Look, we've got still loads to come. We've obviously got the big three guests, Larsson, Sutton, Hartson, Martin O'Neill, Petrov coming up. You don't want to miss it. No, Petrov, sorry. Lubo coming up. Look, we've got 5-a-side teams coming up. That's always an interesting debate, that. 5-a-side teams.
It's good for your 11, but with less choices, 5, it's a tricky one.
5, Lubo, Paddy, Frank coming up. We might throw in a wee bit of chat there. Yep. But what about a song or a couple of songs to keep it lively?
Let's get back over to
with us. Back to Davey. Davey, you ready? Take us away with a few.
Cheers, guys.
Good man.
We seek him here, we seek him there, never to find is very rare. You can go to any single country in the world, you'll find dedicated followers of Celtic. Yes, you can look in Dublin Tower, Australia too, or County Down. The Timolai is found in every street and every town. He's a dedicated follower of Celtic. Oh yes he is. Oh yes he is. Oh yes he is. Oh yes he is. And County Clare to Singapore or China. America or Canada, you'll find him. He'll never hide his colours, cause these colours they don't run. And we're dedicated followers of Celtic. Oh yes he is. Oh yes he is. Oh yes he is. Oh yes he is. In Germany or Holland and in Norway, in all the towns like Donegal or Marseille, in Glasgow town is where he's bound to watch the famous hooks. He's a dedicated follower of Celtic. Throughout the years, we've had our times, 9 in a row, drinking Belfast wine. And 1967 is the year we love the best, cause we are dedicated followers of Celtic. The greatest team we've ever seen, the Lisbon Lions with Big George Steen. And now we go for 10 in a row, Neil Lennon's on the throne. He's a dedicated follower of Celtic. Oh yes he is. Oh yes he is. Oh yes he is. Oh yes he is. County Clare to Singapore or China, America or Canada, you'll find him. He'll never hide his colours, cause these colours they don't run. Cause we're dedicated followers of Celtic. The greatest team we've ever seen, the Lisbon Lions and Big George Steen. And now we go for 10 in a row, Neil Lennon's on the throne. He's a dedicated follower of Celtic. And now we go for 10 in a row, Neil Lennon's on the throne. He's a dedicated follower of Celtic. Willie Maley was his name. He brought some great names to the game when he was the boss at Celtic Park. He taught them how to play football. He made the greatest of them all. Gallagher and Quinn have left their mark. And they gave us James McGrory and Paul McStay. They gave us Johnson, Tully, Montecarlo and Hay. And most of football's greats have passed through Parkhead's gates just to play football the Glasgow Celtic way. 38 there was a show, Glasgow was the place to go. A model of a town was football's pride. The England sent full of the best. They didn't meet with much success, cause the trophy ended up in paradise. And they gave us James McGrory and Paul McStay. They gave us Johnson, Tully, Montecarlo and Hay. And most of football's greats have passed through Parkhead's gates just to play football the Glasgow Celtic way. Coronation time was here, 53 that was a year. Another 4 from England met their doom. He said we'd have to try again, but like before it was in vain, cause the cup is in the Parkhead trophy room. And they gave us James McGrory and Paul McStay. They gave us Johnson, Tully, Montecarlo and Hay. And most of football's greats I'll pass through parquets gates just to play football. The Glasgow Celtic way. And they gave us James McGrory and Paul McStay. Will you sing along, folks? They gave us Johnson, Sully, Mother, Call and Hay. And most of football's greats, I'll pass through parquets gates just to play football. The Glasgow Celtic way. Just to play football, the Glasgow Celtic way.
Woo! Woo! That's magnificent, Davey.
Brilliant,
Absolutely magnificent. I tell you what, it's not his only talent, Sid. You know that?
What's
Me
that?
and Davey's no stranger to a night out. We went out one time.
Yeah.
And he wore a turtleneck when Pep Guardiola was wearing turtlenecks.
Oh, he does, aye.
And he started
kind of look a little bit
asking
like
people,
Pep.
"Aye, do you think I look like Pep?" So there you go. He's got a looky-likey gig on the way. But magnificent, Davey. More from him later. Sid, big chat coming up. 5-a-side. Now, how many times you've been down the pub? You say, who's your best 11 or your favourite players or your 5-a-sides? Listen, feedback out there. We've seen a lot coming in for the guys who have been on. Murdo getting a lot of praise for his cardboard cutout impression. But get your 5-a-side teams in. Let's see who you would pick. Now, it could be a certain era. It could be all-time Celtic 5-a-side team. We're actually lucky. We've got Lubo coming up. We've got Paddy. We've got Frank. All different eras. It's quite interesting to hear who they pick.
It's a difficult one. It's a difficult one.
Me and you'll do our bit as well. Also, the auction. Get on the auction, guys. Gifts on there for Christmas. A lot of good stuff. As I said earlier, Kenny Dalglish, Henrik Larsson, Lubo Moravčík. The website, www.jumblebee.co.uk/First Star Celtic Legends. Right, we got on here. 5-a-side team.
Yes, go for it.
What guy
who
started?
we got up first?
An absolute
Magician.
legend. The guy who trapped the ball with his arse at Celtic Park, Lubo Moravčík. Let's see who he would pick in his 5-a-side team.
Hello everybody. I have to do something what is very difficult to do. It's make choice for the 5-side team who play for Celtic my time. I think first choice is very easy. Mr. Henrik Larsson, it's best player ever who played for Celtic. And my time, I remember one season he scored 50 goals, what is absolutely crazy number. And he scored from any position in the penalty box. He scored from the penalty, from the corner, header, also the free kick. I think that it's absolutely top man for my 5 players. Next to him, up front, I think my choice is Marko Viduka. Marko, very talented player, came same time to Celtic than me. He was a very good friend of me and scored also many goals, and for his body very skillful. And after I need 2 midfielders. My choice is very easy because Paul Lambert, for me, it's absolutely top professional player who been working very hard for the team. And next to him, I think a very talented player from Bulgaria, Stilen Petrov. He came very young. He spent a lot of nice seasons for Celtic. He left. He became legend, Celtic legend. And now I need the guy in the back, somebody who is strong, good mentality, and who also signed the same time for Celtic than me. It's Johan Mjällby. Johan, it's the man very important for every team because he worked he worked very hard every day, every game. And now, what is important as well, is then he's got something what we have together. Is the nice, fair star gin, like that. This bottle, but it's with his picture, and it's that one, it's with my picture. If you want to try this gin, you have to buy it and taste it. I'm sure you will be very happy with your choice. I think I'm very happy with my choice for my 5 best player who played with me. All the best for your choice and good luck.
Brilliant for Lubo. He's like an old professor there telling you about a gin. Gin must be his goalie because he didn't have a goalie. to be fair,
his team's that good.
Well, he's only got, was it Jonathan Gould and Dimitri Carrion to choose for next time, so he'd be as well with that bottle of gin. No, John, what do you think? An absolute genius, but
some great players. By the way, Viduka kind of gets missed. It wasn't around at Celtic a lot of a great length of time. But
did you play with him?
I played with him. Aye.
What was he like? Was he a maniac in the dressing room? He was throwing boots at people.
He was very, very quiet. He kept his Celtic. So if you remember, see when he signed, there was a lot of trouble when he ended up back in Croatia for a length of time.
Right.
Before he came back. But what a player he was. I mean, he obviously went down to the English Premiership with Leeds and whatever. But that's interesting that Lubo's put him in his 5-a-side team there.
Big Johan, sweeper and goalie.
Johan is there. Petrov and Lambert. Petrov's the one you played with, Stan. Petrov's the one I wish I'd played with.
Right.
We just I was going out the door as he was coming in. Fantastic player for Celtic, Stan. And Lambo, well, European Cup winner.
Unreal.
Good
choice. Good choice. And listen, we're getting a few coming up. The side, somebody saying Paddy McCourt. There's a team from Scott Beaton, Boric, Johan, Lubo, McStay, and Henrik. Aye.
Yeah.
Aye, that's a decent side.
Combo.
Aye. So listen, keep them coming in. Next one we've got, quite interesting. Hear what he says. Everybody thought he was a genius. Paddy McCourt. Let's see what his 5-a-side team is going to be.
Hi folks, Paddy McCourt here. I've been asked from my friends at First Star to name my best 5-a-side team from my time at Celtic and the players I played with. So I'll start off with goalkeeper. I would start in nets with Artur Boric, a fantastic goalkeeper who, was Celtic through and through. Had some great times at Celtic, went on to have a great career in England and also a great career with the Polish national team. Someone who was quite quiet, but done his talking on the pitch, and I'm sure you all agree that he'll always go down as a Celtic legend. And he was a top goalkeeper, so I would choose him for nets. 2 defenders, I would have right side Victor Wanyama, predominantly a midfielder in his time at Celtic, but at times filled in at centre back. Unbelievable player. We could tell early on when he came into the club that he was going to go on and have a fantastic career, which he did. Firstly with Celtic, and then obviously latterly with Southampton and Tottenham, and now playing in the MLS. Strong player, good on the ball, and he was a player that, as I said, from very early stages we knew he was going to be a top player. So I would choose Victor as my first defender. Alongside Victor, I would go for Charlie Mulgrew. Again, a terrific servant to Celtic. Great left foot, played a number of positions, and he would be one that I think in a 5-a-side tournament he would be very valuable with shots from anywhere with that left foot, and also his willingness to know how to defend, and a great lad and a great friend, and he'd be one that I would sure have in my 5-a-side team. In terms of midfield, I would go for Aidan McGeady. Only going to go with one midfielder. He would be your creative spark. 5-a-side, I used to see him at 5-a-sides in training, and he was incredible in terms of his skill, in terms of his assists, his goals, and any 5-a-side team with Aidan McGeady in it would be a threat. And also a great friend and someone who I really enjoyed his company during my time at Celtic, and he'd be a fantastic addition to my five-a-side team. Lastly, centre forward, go for Robbie Keane. Not much needs to be said about Robbie. Country's record goal scorer, probably a record that, in my opinion, will never be beat. He only had a short stay at Celtic, it was only half a season, but I think he scored 20 or 21 goals and left his mark on the whole club. Fulfilled a childhood ambition, for himself. He was a Celtic fan. Loved his time up there, although it was brief, and for being such a superstar in the Premier League and such a superstar in his own country and idolised by fans across the world, a very humble person and someone again that I enjoyed his company greatly. So that would be my five-a-side. I think it'll be a very strong side, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening later tonight. Thank you.
Well, interesting team. One man no happy with it. We've got an exclusive, a guest in. Lockdown's taking the piss when it can keep this man in a Friday night. Frank McAvennie. What do you make of that team? Are you having that team, Frank?
Yes.
That five-a-side team? Yeah.
But Paddy's hopeless.
Yeah.
Hopeless.
Hopeless.
God. By the way, he likes everyone's company, didn't he? What would he make of mine?
You'd definitely be in it. Trust me, you would be. What? Listen, what about yours? You got one? Your five-a-side team?
By the way, it would be any team. It would be any team.
I heard that. I heard you saying that it would be any team, but nah. I'm not having it. We'll play it just now and then come back.
Let's have a look.
Aye.
Hey guys, Frank McAvennie here. I have been asked to pick my five-a-side team from my time at Celtic. I was there twice, so I like to win every tournament. So a five-a-side tournament, I would pick this team. In goal has to be number one, Pat Bonner. Different class. When I played beside him, played against him at St Mirren many times, and he was different class of keeper, just a good all-round keeper, and I wouldn't have any fears putting him in goal. Don't know what he's like at five-a-side, but he was all right in the gym, so that'll do for me. Centre, defender, I'd drag Roy Aitken, Captain Roy. I would bring him back to playing defence because he can sprint, he's got great pace, great ability, powerful, strong, and he can run with the ball, score goals. So, I would have no fear picking Roy as my captain and playing him at the back. Two midfield players, different. Paul McStay was probably one of the best players I've ever played with. That's how highly I rated him. He was up there with the best. Superb player. Great awareness for strikers. So yeah, Paul, without doubt. Second time I went back, there was a wee guy in beside him that was a wonderful player also. Unfortunately, it wasn't as good a team as when I left, but these two guys were outstanding. A guy called John Collins, you all know him. He was magnificent. So I'd have John Collins, Paul McStay in the middle, and up front, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to go for a good pal of mine, Charlie Nicholas. When I went back a second time, I think me and Charlie were born to play with each other, but the guy scored 50 goals in one season against the best defenders Scotland has ever produced. And people forget that. He was a wonderful player and as I say, a good pal. So Charlie could hold the ball and do his tricks and do whatever he wants because he was that good. So I don't think that team would get beat. All the best. Hail, hail.
Great team.
Oh,
great team.
I'll give you that, Macca. I'll give you that. That's decent.
There you go.
Talking about camaraderie earlier on, the Celtic squad. You and Charlie Nick must have had a few quiet nights, did you?
I don't think we've ever had a quiet night.
Hey, I work for you on the pitch, yo.
I've called him a lot of nights, but never quiet. Yeah, it was good. He looked after me when I first went to London. He was at Arsenal. And,
as soon as he came into the club there, that was when he went to London.
Arsenal, so he's a good lad. You know Charlie, he's a good boy. And he's says a lot about says things about the club, but listen, it was good for the night out, that's for sure. He was not bad at football, was he? He wasn't bad at football, let's be honest. And I was joking when I said that, but he scored 50 goals against the best defenders, and people forget that 48 or something like that, but the defenders that Charlie played against were absolutely superb.
Yeah. It's a great team.
So,
Frank, other side of the spectrum, you've got a guy in there that everybody knows for professionalism, John Collins. Growing up, John Collins was one of my heroes in that era. I mean, what was he like? Just ultimate pro?
It was, when I went in, it wasn't my first game. I nearly had him by the throat. It was, that way he does like that and he goes like that to chip it. And I make my run and he cuts inside every time. And when I wasn't fit enough, and I was breathing at my backside. I'm like, I'm not here to make you look good. so after that, we got on great. Once we sorted that out, we got on great. JC, I called him, my God. I know.
What about Big Feed the Bear? I remember playing for Queen's Park against Feed the Bear at Love Street. He was coming to end his career. He was playing for St Mirren Reserves, and he was an absolute stick-out. He was the best player on the pitch. What was he like to play with?
Oh, God, it was great. But, when something was going wrong, see the team now, if we just get him by the jerseys and pull them into line. And, when he got the ball and the crowd erupted because he went in one of the runs, it was all feed the bear sort of stuff,
Yeah,
and it was just great. He could play centre-half. He could go into centre-half easily, play midfield. He was just one of the players that could play anywhere, and what a leader, And you know what? You go. This is the truth. You go out. I don't know if you know him. You go out with him. He doesn't drink. You go out with him. You would think he was pissed. He was the funniest guy with everybody.
The fumes.
Everyone thought he was pissed, but he didn't have a drink. I couldn't do that. I couldn't. No. I'd stay in the house drink.
Well, stay in the house, you're not gin.
Don't have a gin there, a nice wee gin. I've only had a couple of glasses.
Yours is, what is yours one again? Yours is a dry one, is it? The
original.
No flavours for you.
He's the original.
Mine's is, I don't go. I'm an original. It's one of them. There's only one and only dry gin. That's me. So that's a very nice. Honestly, very nice. I thought they bought that I got what it for me. I didn't know I was to give them away to people. So
you turned them up.
Just a couple.
Good man, Macca. Listen, thanks very much for joining us. It's a good team you've put together. Me and Sid is to come. I don't know if it'll be
struggle to beat that one. Struggle to beat that one.
Listen, they were international top drawer. You couldn't get any better than that. Can you imagine they boys playing against your Paddy's team, Charlie McGrew and me, Aidan. When you get a kick in the ball.
Listen, I've got a few of them in my team as well. There's no point in me reading it out.
Listen, there's no harm in coming second.
Frank, thanks very much for joining us. Look, we don't want to disturb your work with your gin, so carry on and enjoy your night. See you soon, mate.
See you, Macca.
Cheers, guys.
Take care.
Cheers. Brilliant, Macca, brilliant as usual.
Great team, though.
That's a good
brilliant
team. No, no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Players.
But listen, geez yours then. Quickly, we'll go through yours.
Right, I'm not going
we'll get another song for Davey to liven this up.
I'm going to do a Lubo. Right, I'm not going with a goalkeeper.
How can you not go with a goal?
It's 5 asides, just keep the ball. Everybody takes a shot in goals. We play sixes, we do that.
Aye.
Right, so I'm going to go with my good mate, Jackie Mack at the back. Great defender. Could play football, obviously. Paul McStay, like Macca, I'm going to put Paul in. He's got to play in my team. Lubo's got to be in it. Henrik's got to be in it. And it's really tough, but I'm going to go with Big Pierre Van Hooijdonk. What a fantastic player he was.
5 asides?
5 asides. He'll play up the top, the rest will run amok.
Can he play high balls, isn't he? No.
He was fantastic. Great with
He's
the ball.
He's not going to get a free kick up in the water, 5 asides.
He wasn't your typical beanpole centre, number 9. He was great with the ball at his feet.
Aye. Well, listen, I'll challenge it. Mine would be my 5-a-side team. I would go Boric in goals. I would go a guy who would scare the living daylights out of anybody and fill the pitch. Big Bobo. I would put Big Bobo in there. Oh, he was brilliant.
Aye. No way you're playing against him, yeah.
Oh, by the way, I know I played against him a few times with United as a kid. Scary guy. I would go for a machine Petrov. You were touching him earlier.
Yep, good choice.
I would go for McGeady as well. McGeady was one of the most outstanding trainers I've ever seen. Some of the things he used to do in training was phenomenal. And at C5-a-side, 4v4s, we used to always do. He was unstoppable. Couldn't get near him. Didn't matter who we brought in, from what country, what nationality. They couldn't get near this guy.
Sharp,
and Paddy mentioned him earlier on. I would have a centre forward, Robbie Keane. That guy came up a superstar and he took to it like it was his first club. He loved it in those wee games. Terrific finisher. But just a top guy as well. So good sides in there. Good sides. Don't know who would come out. That's a good argument. See, that's what I mean. See, going down the pub, you get your older generation guys going, these older boys were much better than this younger crop. And the younger guys are going, these younger guys are much fitter than yous were. And Frank saying they were out all the time and behaving, but they still did it in the pitch. But a great chat. Some good teams coming up with James Larsson, Fraser Foster, Van Dijk, Mjällby, DFS, McStay, and Larsson. That's
Danny McGrain mentioned there. Danny McGrain, fantastic player.
Danny would be good. There's one.
There's Paddy McCourt in a team with
Packy Bonner,
Larsson and McStay and Packy Bonner.
Yeah, not too bad. I think it's a great debate. You could have this all night. And you know what I liked about that feature there? We had guys from different eras. So Frank's era, you had your McStay's, Collins.
It's great. I listened to Macca's team there from an era where I kind of grew up.
Aye.
But I was fortunate enough to end up going and playing with the likes of McStay. I played with Macca as well. Macca was at the club, and Charlie Nick that he touches on, I think I made my first start for Celtic up front with Charlie. So is
that right, did you?
Aye, at Celtic Park. So
what year was that?
93 or 4.
Here, there's one there. Where there? Go that McStay, Jinky, Larsson, Lubo, and Petro. Aye, now that's a team.
Yep.
If you're talking about all eras, you'd have Jimmy Johnson in your team all day long. Jimmy Johnson, Henrik Larsson. I think they could just play against the rest of the fives. Listen, brilliant feature. Look, auction. Get on the auction. We keep mentioning it, but there's brilliant prizes. Christmas coming up round the corner. Get bidding. It's open till Sunday. And the website, www.jumblebee.co.uk/First Star Celtic Legends. As I said earlier, we've got prizes for Lubo Moravčík, Henrik Larsson, Kenny Dalglish, Simon Donnelly maybe even makes an appearance in there. So I know there's a few housewives out there that like Sid for the 90s getting on a bit now in their years. Listen, let's get another song. He's been brilliant all night. I think we need another one for those who are getting a few drinks in them now. So let's go to Davey. Davey, you ready? He's another one, mate.
Oh, Celtic, 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 my heart and my soul. I followed the teams of the past and watched history unfold. Going to parkhead with my dad and my brother. It's true what they say, we're a club like no other. The colours that flow through my veins, it all green, white and gold. Oh, Celtic, 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 my heart and my soul. Followed the teams of the past and watched history unfold. Going to parkhead with my dad and my brother. It's true what they say, we're a club like no other. The colours that flow through my veins, it all green, white and gold. The sun it shines down as we're walking along London Road. The Green Brigade burst into song and the jungle explodes. So what does it mean to be Celtic and how does it feel? To pull on the hoops and be fearless like Billy McNeil. Oh, Celtic, 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 my heart and my soul. I followed the teams of the past and watched history unfold. Going to parkhead with my dad and my brother. It's true what they say, we're a club like no other. The colours that flow through my veins, it all green, white and gold. They came in their thousands to Lisbon and York had a plan. He understood football was nothing without the fans. We went a goal down before Gemmell and Chalmers would save us. Our jerseys don't fit second best or inferior players. Oh, Celtic, 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 my heart and my soul. Follow the teams of the past and watch history unfold. Going to Parkhead with my dad and my brother. Sure what they say, we're a club like no other. The colours that flow through my veins, it all green, white and gold. Oh, Celtic, 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 my heart and my soul. I follow the teams of the past and watch history unfold. Corner Parkhead with my dad and my brother. It's true what they say, we're a club like no other. The colours that flow through my veins, it all green, white and gold. The colours that flow through my veins, it all green, white and gold.
Love it, Davey. Magnificent again. Brilliant. Brilliant. Great stuff. Listen, anybody wondering out there how we're doing this at dinner time without eating? We only said, have we?
No, Saturdays, pizzas. Magnificent.
Not for me.
We've battled through right through these.
Brilliant advertisement there. Look, may say thanks very much for all the feedback coming in. It's been brilliant reading some of the stuff. You know, big shout out to Aidan, Daniel, McLaughlin, listening live from Birmingham. But we're getting feedback from all over, so please keep it coming. Now, we're into the second half of the show. It's all about the Hydro.
Yep.
That big night in June. You'll know why to miss this. Some great interviews coming up. The big one to start with. I mean, people were scared of this guy. He controlled some big names in that dressing room. One of the most iconic managers Celtic have had. Martin O'Neill, let's hear what he's got to say.
Martin, thanks for joining us. Pleasure to see you.
And you?
Good. We'll get cracking. Obviously, we've got a big event at the Hydro in Glasgow, now rearranged for June the 3rd next year. Henrik Larsson, Chris Sutton, John Hartson, yourself, Stan Petrov, Johan Mjällby are coming along on the night too. But the main focus, Henrik, Chris and John, the three strikers that you had. Can you tell us a wee bit about them? Just give us a wee flavour of them and the characters of the three lads.
Yeah, I think if this is a promo for it, this wouldn't be long enough. But three very, very, very distinct characters, very different in their own ways. Similarity is that they could all play the game at a very, very high level. Henrik, obviously, I wouldn't need to remind Celtic fans about what he could do. Absolutely fantastic goal scorer, very, very elegant player, graceful, but that doesn't belie how brave he was in the penalty area, could score you a goal, no doubt about that. In terms of Big John, John was more prosaic, really, than Henrik. That's and he would have very, very strong outside the penalty area, maybe not as bothered. But inside the box, an absolute demon. He could score a goal and very strong, very strong. Both of them very strong in the air too. John was maybe a bludgeoning type. Henrik was, but Henrik could mix it with the best, but could score that very, very elusive goal. And I suppose Chris was kind of mixture, and I'm really talking on the footballing sense. Sort of a mixture of both. He was both elegant and prosaic at the same time. Terrific footballer. Really, really great footballer. I think that highly underestimated in that sense, but not by us. Just to let you know that, absolutely not. But I mean in his career, and it's almost a compliment in the fact that he was so good that people thought that he was underestimated. He had a tough old time at Chelsea, hence him moving up to us. But that wasn't to say that he hadn't been a great player before that. He had proved himself along with Alan Shearer. and they had won the championship up at Blackburn Rovers. But I'd watched Chris for a long, long time, from his early days as a kid at Norwich City. But what I think Chris married just about everything at Celtic, and I thought that the one thing that he was the ultimate team player, and I suppose the very fact that he could play a number of positions proved that. But I could pay him no higher compliment than that he was a major player in the success that we had.
When some of the success that you had, Martin, obviously Seville 2003, the three lads all at different points played a major part. Obviously, unfortunately, John missed out through injury at the final. But Henrik's performance that night, ultimately you guys lost the game, which was a shame for you all. But Henrik's performance that night and his 2 goals.
Yeah, absolutely. Just before I get on to that, you're talking about John's part. Yeah, John picked up the injury and wasn't able to play in the final. But John's part was massive in that wonder goal he scored against Liverpool up at Anfield in the quarter final of the competition, and his importance was underlined throughout the tournament. But you talk about Henrik's performance in the final, worthy of winning the European Cup, never mind the UEFA Cup, and thankfully Henrik went on to do that there with Barcelona. But it's a wonderful performance, just absolutely superlative game. His contribution that night there was worthy of winning any competition, and so for him to finish in the losing side was just an unbelievable disappointment. I heard Johan Mjällby speaking not that long ago, talking about that was still his biggest disappointment of his footballing time. And as I start to look back on it myself, I wouldn't disagree with that. But Henrik's performance that evening in a desperately hot Seville was just absolutely outstanding.
But we know that the amount of goals that Henrik scored for Celtic and scored for your team during the 4 years that he was with you. But some of the boys say, Jackie McNamara, Stan Petrov, Johan Mjällby, they recall with fondness and amusement one of the times where actually you gave Henrik a rollicking at Tannadice at half-time against Dundee United. Do you recall that?
Yes, I do recall that. And the very fact that we kind of all remember it shows you the number of times that Henrik got a rollicking from me in my time and his time at the football club, which is, I think, once. It was at Dundee United. But do you know what I might do, Mark? I might save that there for the June the 3rd then, if that's all right, because there seems to be different versions of that particular story, and I want to obviously tell the ultimate truth about it in front of Larsson and Sutton and Hartson.
Brilliant. We look forward to that on June the 3rd. Tell me, are you looking forward to being with the three boys? Because as much as you knew them as footballers, but they're good human beings, good people, good sense of humour. You must have a lot of fun with them as well.
Well, I have. I don't know whether it's a compliment or a discompliment to know that I'm the warm-up act for these three. So on really just to talk about the characters before they enter the stage. But we might have a little bit of fun before that. But as you talk about characters, big characters in the game, big characters in life, to be perfectly honest. And when you consider the sort of success that we had, I know there's a lot of talk nowadays, Mark, about leaders in the game. Almost every punditry I listen to after matches, people talk about the lack of leaders in the game. Well, there's three major characters, all in their own rights. John having certain attributes that would be just akin to him. The other two, again, in separate ways, but all very, very strong characters in the dressing room in their own way. And you consider you can add another 3 or 4 to that there. The job basically was handling those. But I never found that a problem, because strangely enough, the bigger the character, the more they wanted to win. And that was the combining feature of all of our side. We had boys who definitely wanted to win, and actually, as it's been proven, knew how to win. Chris Sutton has won the Premier League with Blackburn Rovers. Henrik Larsson has won the Champions League with Barcelona, went on to play for Manchester United in the latter stages of his career, and played so well in that short period of time that he was asked back by Sir Alex Ferguson, and that shows you the sort of impact that he had made in that short period of time. And John Hartson, I've got the utmost regard, because John had an unbelievable battle off the football field and came through. And I think that's a wonderful testament to his mentality, his strength of character, and his I have to say, his courage. So big characters. It should be a good evening, as long as they can take a little bit of banter. Particularly Henrik, who's not been used to getting any sort of criticism from me. In fact, I think I signed there in June, and I think the first time I talked to Henrik was probably about December time. And that is a joke, by the way. And although we met up in 2014 in the World Cup, and while he used to feel that I was a bit standoffish, and I kind of felt the same about him. Wonderful footballer, great character, and we couldn't have been without the three of them, to be perfectly honest.
Talking about characters, another guy that you brought to Celtic, Neil Lennon, just about 20 years ago, Martin. Incredibly, that started his love affair with the club. He's now the manager of the football club. Just a wee word of encouragement in what's such a massive season for Celtic and for Neil. Yeah.
I was asked a couple of weeks ago to talk about Neil, and find out. There's, like everything else, Mark, there's always a bit of flack flying around at different stages. I mean, it's on I was nearly going to say it's on a daily basis. It's probably on an hourly basis up there. But yourself, you're managing a big side. First of all, Neil Lennon was an incredibly successful player at the football club. Then he went on to manage unbelievably successfily. And then his second spell, he came in at a very, very difficult time. He took over that there and has kept it going. My genuine belief is that that there would have been very, very few people able to do that. And Neil Lennon was one of that. And so in a week where people are talking about, I didn't play so well against Rangers, which can happen. Lose to AC Milan during the course of the week. The AC Milan that particular week were top of the Italian league. No bad thing. And Aberdeen away from home, a 3-3 draw when probably they could have won the game. Aberdeen, I always found, was a difficult place to go. Pittodrie, very, very difficult. So just wait. Teams will go through these little spells, and you can go from searing self-confidence to asking questions about yourself, not just the course of a season, but really in the course of a week. So all told, I would think just settle down. Neil Lennon has been used to winning football matches for a long period of time, both as a player and as a manager, and I'm sure he will see that through.
Okay, Martin, that was great. Thank you for joining us. And if we don't see you before, we will see you on June the 3rd, which should be a right good night.
Well, what a night that'll be. Unbelievable. I mean, what a presence he's got about him, Martin O'Neill.
You could listen to him all night.
You could. He's
mesmerising. And the stories that he's got. I was at a lunch, I think it was Big John's Foundation lunch, and he was there, and it was the same. You're just sitting there, silence, hanging on every word. It's tremendous to listen to.
What he's saying there about, the three of them being strong characters, Larsson, Sutton, Hartson, you have to be an even stronger character to manage them. Unbelievable. Because see, when I went to Celtic, I was 6 months after Martin O'Neill, and there was still Alan Thompson was there, Lenny was there, and the stories he used to tell us about the fear factor he had in the older ones, said very little, but when he did say it, he kept them all in check. And what success he had. I mean, the club was in a wee bit of a state at that time. Yep. He came in, unbelievable first season, turned guys about that were probably, you would say, not on their way out, but flagging a bit. And he came in and he boosted the full place and won that treble.
He did, and for me, the 2003 run to the UEFA Cup final was obviously a highlight, out with the the score in the final. But that team at that time, I remember watching them in the Champions League. A wee bit of luck, they could have went the length of the Champions League. You know, there was times there where when you've got those three up front, you know, anything, particularly Henrik, anything can happen. I really thought at times they were really unfortunate to get a really good run in that Champions League. Fantastic Celtic side and a great one to watch. Really powerful, strong characters, as Martin touched on there. Can you imagine being in that dressing room? You know,
well, I tell you what, see his story there he was telling. I might have been playing for Dundee United. I mean, I can't believe he didn't tell us the story. I can't wait the Hydro.
We'll wait for the Hydro, but it shows you the respect that they had for each other, him and Henrik. I found that quite funny there, that they both found each other standoffish.
Frightening. See, that's weird for me, because I'm this young kid playing against these guys who are just, you know, bulldozing everything in front of them, especially Dundee United at that time at Tannadice, and to know now that they were having an absolute blast at each other in the dressing room.
The King of Kings,
brilliant, because you used to only think it was us Muppets in the other dressing room that was getting it, but it just goes to show you what winning went to them. But he was just such a driving force. So there you go, an exclusive. The Hydro is where he's going to tell that story. With you know, all three of them coming on after him. It'll be brilliant. Interestingly enough, he touches on Neil Lennon there. Now, if we look at it, I don't think it's any secret Martin Neil loved Lenny, didn't he? He absolutely adored him as a player. Almost 20 years ago, I think, to the month that, or near enough 20 years ago, that he signed him for Celtic. Played such a huge part, and it was interesting to hear his thoughts. He's a guy that knows what it's like to be in the hot seat. I don't think that much criticism came his way, but he still knows what it's like to be a manager up here and have the heat on him.
He still knows, and as he said there, it's not even a daily thing, it's an hourly thing in terms of criticism up here, and it's only magnified by what the club are going for this year. But he also touched on it can flip quite quickly. You know, if Celtic get themselves winning games, the confidence comes back, the picture changes quite quickly. We spoke about it earlier on the show. They've got the ability there. The ability is there. It's, the guys that have won the last few titles are still there. It's just flicking that switch and getting some form.
No, what I loved about his teams were full of players who knew how to play the game. You know, Johan touched on it earlier when he said, Johan alluded to, you need to take players by the hands now. We know you probably do a lot of the time. Neil's probably finding that just now. His teams though were just streetwise, knew how to win, knew how to get the job done. And that went to show in that UEFA Cup run.
They knew their jobs, Willow. They knew their jobs. He would plan and prepare during the week, but see, once they were out on that pitch, he knew he could rely on them week in, week out. You know, experienced campaigners in there, and full of talent. Physical presence as well. You touch on those three. I mean, Henrik wasn't the biggest, but he was strong.
Oh, he was strong, is it?
We talked
elbows in all the time.
He could leap for fun. He could pin people. Henrik would play off him. Then you'd the battering ram of Big John. And again, he says there how important John was in that run, 2003, the goal against Liverpool. I remember Celta Vigo as well, away from home. Watched. So fantastic.
See the final that year, that final and the final live forever with Celtic fans. Where were you?
I was there.
Were you there? Were you?
I was there, mate.
Did you get a ticket?
Jackie boy.
Oh, that's right.
We were there. I'd actually been at a stag do the weekend before in Barcelona. My mates flew in to pick me up and take me down to Seville. What a week that was.
Listen, get your comments in about that. Where did you actually watch that Seville final? I was at Dundee United as a kid. Didn't drink back then and get dragged to the pub in Dundee to watch it. What a terrible place to watch it.
What age were you then?
What age? 2003. I don't know, 18. I don't know. Somebody gives a calculator there.
Put you under pressure there.
Somebody tweet in what age I was in 2003. No, but it was unbelievable. But you feel sorry for the younger fans who are coming through now, and you see a lot of them seeing this 10 in a row or 10 in a row quest, and you think, oh, they're lucky, but they missed one of the greatest. The greatest.
That was special. The whole run to the final, beating a couple of English clubs on the way, and the final itself. I mean, Celtic took over Seville. The only disappointing factor is the end result. Henrik was, as Martin says there, Henrik's performance deserved to win a Champions League, never mind the UEFA Cup that night. It was unbelievable. 2 fantastic goals, and just fell short.
Frightening. And it just goes to show you what a good team they were beat by. I know everybody said they cheated and they rolled about, but look, they're not getting beat for some, pub team who went on to great things in Mourinho. So, I mean, outstanding manager. Said that they are mesmerising. Could listen to him all day. And if you're getting to the hydro, I mean, you're in for some night. Listen to him. If he's a warm-up act.
He's the warm-up act. And it's funny because when you see this next bit, obviously I've seen it, the chemistry between the three and how they feel about Martin, it's going to be really interesting to see them now, years on, together on a stage.
Well, listen, we'll get to the big thing. Just a mention for the auction. It's still up and running. Still loads of prizes. I'll keep mentioning it all throughout the night. It's running to Sunday. www.jumblebee.co.uk/First Star Celtic Legends. All right, so will we get to the big part of the night?
Let's go for it.
Everybody's been waiting. It's well worth waiting for. Bit of banter for three of the best Celtic strikers in a generation. Let's go for it. Henrik Larsson, Chris Sutton, John Hartson.
Welcome to Legends, Celtic Legends Live with First Star, and I'm here with two real legends, John Hartson and Henrik Larsson. Good evening.
Good evening, Christopher. You and Paddy either. I've got to say that. You and Paddy.
Good evening, Chris. Don't play yourself down.
And of course, we're all looking forward to the event on June the 3rd at the Hydro. Looking forward to your stories. And we have Martin O'Neill coming along. So I don't know how you guys are feeling, but I was always a little bit nervous of Martin, so I might have to hold back a little bit.
Go on, Henrik.
Well,
you go.
Yeah, I was a little bit nervous as well, but sometimes it's good not to understand everything as a foreigner, you know, all the slide remarks and things like that. But I'm not that worried, to be honest, and I don't think you should be that worried either, Chris.
I've been in Martin's company since I retired. I finished playing at Celtic, and I think I get on better with him away from when he was managing me. Obviously, I think he was didn't think he let players in too much. I can't really say I knew Martin too well when I was playing under him. I don't know what you boys think, but obviously I've done a few Wales. I've played the Republic of Ireland a few times in the last 5 or 6 years in different qualifiers and these type of games, and I've covered the games, and I've been in his company before the game, afterwards, and I've got on reasonably well with him, much better than when it was when I was playing for him. I don't know whether he's maybe opened up a little bit to me. I've sort of different side of him. I've had a game of golf with him. But certainly when I played under him, I wouldn't even say I knew him at all. I don't think he let you in too often, you know.
He let me and Chris in a lot because we used to go for his house to Sunday dinners. So we were there all the time. Yeah. So
I didn't know that.
No, but now you know. I thought I let you in on that one because I didn't feel fine not having you to know what we did.
Well, he was always trying to keep my weight down, so offering me to a might not help me too much anyway. That's why I didn't get the Yorkshire pudding and the beef dinners. You know?
Henrik, you were always Martin's favourite.
No, it was you, Chris, and you know it. So don't try to put that one on me, please. Come on, Chris. Hey. Listen.
What do you think, John?
I kept myself to myself, did my work, never complained, and I wasn't his favorite. You know that, Chris. It was you.
All I know is that not many people would answer Martin back, but I saw Henrik do it once or twice.
Once.
Not many were brave enough to do it, but Henrik did it once, and I'm not sure whether Martin liked it or not, but he didn't say a lot back anyway. So no, I chirped that once or twice. Mainly when he brought me off after 65 minutes, I used to have a go at him.
And what are you two guys looking forward to most about the evening?
If I can start again, I say meeting you guys, of course, and all the fans, and meeting the gaffer. Don't run into him that often anymore. Last time I saw him was, I think, when we worked together in 2018, the World Cup. It's always great to meet you guys and reminisce, as you say in English, and it's funny the way you just jump back into. Thank you very much, Christopher. You learned me a lot, the grasp of the good English language. But going back to what I wanted to say was just to the stories we have, all the emotions and the games we shared. I mean, that's, I think, what's connect us together forever. Obviously together with the club, but I think I can speak for all three of us. Once we meet each other, we just bounce back into the roles we had when we played. And I love that, because now when you're getting older, I'm almost 50, almost, not yet. You start to think about what you achieved together with your former teammates, and think about things that you wouldn't think about when you played. For example, just being able to enjoy a game. I mean, you enjoyed it when you played, but then it was time for the next game, so you didn't really enjoy the moments. And that's why when you come together like this, you stories that you might have heard before, but stories that you haven't heard before come to above, so to speak. And you start to remember things, and it's great whenever these occasions occur.
Pretty much the same as Henrik there, Chris. Really looking forward to getting together again. I know me and yourself, we've done quite a bit of television over the years, in the last 3 or 4 years together with various different companies, but it'll be great to share the stage again with you two guys. I had enormous respect for you when I played with you. Of course, I came in as pretty much a bit of an outsider, but you both made me feel very welcome. You both were very, very encouraging to me all the time. Never made it a difficult place for me to be. So I'll be very thankful and grateful of that, and you know that as well. And also there's a few other Celtic players coming of the similar team that we played in, similar sort of era, if you like. So it'd be nice to get, quite a few of the lads together again. And as Henrik said, just reminisce. I'm sure Martin will keep it lively. I'm sure he'll try and, with his little one-word, little cliches and things like this. I don't know if we can take him on a bit more now, because he's not our manager anymore. So might give us that opportunity to have a back a little bit. Hold on a minute, Martin. You're not my boss anymore. You don't pay my wages anymore. Hold on a minute. But no, and again, I think there's going to be a superb crowd, the Celtic fans, and I think we've got a bit of an onus to put a bit of a show on, and very much looking forward to it. Like you both, I'm sure, are.
Christopher, and you then, what are you looking forward to?
And we all. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you two guys, especially. And the thing is people watching this at this moment in time will think we're all three lovely guys and nice-natured, and they couldn't be any further from the truth, really, when we played. You two especially were horrible, ruthless and horrible, and that's the sort of truth, isn't it? I was the nice guy.
I've changed a lot.
No, we're talking about when we played.
Listen, I think when you play, I think when you play, you've got a different mentality. I think we were all winners. We wanted to win, and we did everything to win. Sometimes that might make you a little bit selfish, might make you a bit arrogant, I just think it's your character. You want to play, you want to win. I think you're a different person. I'm certainly a different person since I've retired. I've gone through my illness and made me a lot more humble, a lot more appreciative of what I have and what I've been through. But I think, Chris, I think as top players like you two were, I think you've got to be a bit cynical. You've got to be a little bit single-minded and driven. And of course, I think we all had that in abundance. That's why we got as many goals as we did in that period that we were together.
So we're all looking forward to it, guys. That's sort of 10 minutes of chat. We want to save our best stories for the event, and I'll look forward to seeing you June the 3rd at the Hydro. Henrik, you're getting the big bucks as always. Me and John will be the supporting act. That's the way it always was, and the way it should be. All right, guys. So, and that's fair.
That's fair.
And I'll see you there on June the 3rd, guys.
Best wishes.
Looking forward to see you guys.
Take care, Chris. Speak soon.
Take care, John. Chris.
Bye-bye.
And get a good Wi-Fi, Chris.
Bye, boys.
Bye.
Yeah, that's right.
Stay on.
See ya.
Hey, what are you doing?
Oh, that was magnificent. How good was that,
Brilliant.
Sid? I mean,
Brilliant,
well put
mate.
together. The three of them at the Hydro. I mean, that's just a wee 10-minute taster. Think of the stories these guys have got. I mean, what was that like to put on there?
Oh, mate, it was stressful, actually. I'd spoke to Henrik last week to see if he would come on and do a wee bit. And we tied Sutton and Hartson in, Big John in, to do it. So we were going for 5 o'clock the other day. And I'm on just to make sure the three boys are together and everything was fine. And Sutty's punctual. He's 5 o'clock, bang on. And I don't know Sutty that well. I know him through Jackie, but I've met him over the years. So the pleasantries are over quite quickly. No sign of Henrik, no sign of John. And it was awkward to say the least. John came on, I think he was taking his kid to swimming lessons. So he came on and off 3 times. It was 25, 30 minutes before Henrik, and I can see him typing. I'm thinking, thank God he's coming in. So he'd been in Kiev with the Barcelona team, so he'd got back early. He'd had a few things on, he had Spanish lessons, and then he'd fell asleep. So I'm trying to get him for half an hour, and he's fell asleep. And I've got Sutty here, trying to play host to Sutty, who I don't really know. It got to the point where I think Sutty had something else on. Thankfully, Henrik came on. The 10 minutes there, well, we've seen it, it's gold dust. But then you just catch that last wee bit. Henrik wanted to stay on to speak to Sutty, but Sutty had something else and it's cut off.
Yeah,
so
take it off.
I'm sure they're looking forward to the Hydro. It'll be great. You know, you just look at the chemistry between the three of them there.
Right, innit?
You know, it's as if they're back in the dressing room, winding each other up. More of that.
So you can see how Sutton and Larsson were an unbelievable partnership. The way they just feed off each other. But like, that's just a 10-minute teaser. Those three guys, a 10-minute teaser. A Martin, a Neil. I mean, being there for the full night for a couple of hours, you know, with live music, it's going to be an unbelievable night. I mean, feedback coming in. I mean, Stephen Colhart there, what a strike force. There was another one, 3 legends, Jamie T, legends. You know, I think Kate Ellie's referring there to Seville, still a hard one to watch.
Yeah.
Hopefully that is another night she's talking about. Hope she didn't specify Seville there. Ali Kelly, amazing memories, you know, just unbelievable feedback, because these guys are just etched in people's memories. See, when I was talking about young kids who first went to their games, Martin O'Neill was manager.
Yep.
The strike force was Hartson and Larsson and Sutton playing in behind. It was, what a time that was to grow up as a Celtic. It was hard playing against them, tell you that.
It must have been.
Aye.
It must have been, but because out of the three of them, they had everything. It was really interesting to see Martin describe Sutty as a kind of bit of both, you know. And then John there, you know, being very respectful to the two guys coming in. How could he break up such a potent strike force? But
to be fair, he did.
Over 100 goals for Celtic.
Big John had written on the inside of his locker when I went there. What was that?
How many goals he'd scored?
Celtic, about 100 goals not out, scribbled in Sharpie pen. So obviously when he left, somebody had to come across and replace that door. But just absolute hero. So look, if you're going to the Hydro, you're in for a treat. If you've not got tickets, get on the website just now and try and get yourself some, because tickets are selling well. No doubt it's going to be an absolute fantastic night. But what a night we've had.
Great
it's been
night.
Brilliant.
Great
I mean, sitting with pizza,
music,
bottles of gin.
The legends.
Celtic, actual legends. Aye. That guy must have been worried. Legends. I think they've done all right in their Celtic career, but I wouldn't call them legends. Well, don't worry, mate. See, we've just shown you who the actual legends are. Look, we'll finish off with a guy who's been brilliant all night, and he'll be at the Hydro.
The Hydro, yes.
He'll be at the Hydro. Pep Guardiola himself. I'm sure there'll be a few of your housewives taking a keen interest in him. Davy McKendrick. Davy, you ready to give us another few songs?
Good to go.
On you go.
On you go, Davy boy.
Over and over, we will follow you. Over and over, we will see you through. We are Celtic supporters, and we are faithful through and through. Over and over, we will follow you. Over and over, we will follow you. For those who are in love, there's a song that's warm and tender. Those who are oppressed, it's a song we can't protest. Liberate your mind, give your soul expression, and open up your hearts, and I'll sing for you this song. Let the people sing their stories and their songs, the music of our native lands. Our lullabies and battle cries and songs of hope and joy, you join us hand in hand. All across this ancient land, throughout the test of time, it was music that kept our spirits free. Those songs of yours and of mine. Island band of song, your music lives forever, in its valleys, in its mountains, its hills and in its glens. Your music that survived through famine and oppression, to the generations gone, I'll sing for you this song. Let the people sing their stories and their songs, the music of our native lands. Our lullabies and battle cries and songs of hope and joy, you join us hand in hand. All across this ancient land, throughout the test of time, it was music that kept our spirits free. Those songs of yours and of mine. Here we go. This land is your land, this land is my land. From the Northern Highlands to the Western Islands, from the hills of Kerry to the streets of Greenery, this land was made for you and me. As I was walking by the shining waters, hand in hand with my little daughters, with the church bells ringing and the children singing, this land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From the Northern Highlands to the Western Islands, from the hills of Kerry to the streets of Greenery, this land was made for you and me. So I walked her home by the old church steeple, proud of my country, proud of my people, of the men who tried there and the men who died there, singing, this land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From the Northern Highlands to the Western Islands, from the hills of Kerry to the streets of Greenery, this land was made for you and me. Then I climbed a mountain, saw the crystal fountain, and I heard a great roar from the rocky seashore. Her eyes were gleaming, she said, oh, go, Daddy, this land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From the Northern Highlands to the Western Islands, from the hills of Kerry, the streets of Greenery, this land was made for you and me. From the hills I carry to the streets I free. This life is made for you and me.
Folks, thanks again for joining this evening. Big thanks to First Star, Mark Wilson and Simon Donnelly for hosting us tonight as well. Just a small matter of a gig at the Hydro next. Look forward to seeing you all on the 3rd of June. Take care, folks. Good night. Back to the boys in the studio.
Unbelievable, Davey. 10,000 at the Hydro to come. Hope you don't panic. Start messing up. Listen, if that last tune isn't enough to get you on the gin, First Star Gin, get it at the First Star Shopify. Unbelievable night, Sid. Tickets for the Hydro as well. Look, people are messaging in. How do you get them? I mean, there's still some for sale. I mean, you get them online at the Hydro. Visit the website.
Yep, the Hydro website.
Yeah, it'll be an outstanding night. Look, if you enjoyed yourself tonight, look, we do a weekly podcast, the Celtic Huddle podcast. Join in, me and Sid. We've got Frank McAvennie on, so we talk mostly about the week gone by. So join in that. But look, need to thank everybody who joined in, Sid. The great guest list we had, because let's be honest, it'd be absolutely rubbish if it was just me and you on it. So look, Murdo, Jackie, Johan Mjällby, Lubo. You had Paddy McCourt giving his 5-a-side. The legend Frank McAvennie. You had the big ones.
Yeah, Martin and Neil, fantastic. 10 minutes with Martin. The three boys, Henrik, Sutton, John Hartson. Of course, you touched on it, the Maverick, Paddy McCourt with his 5-a-side team that Macca wasn't too enamoured with, but hey ho. I think the auction goes on Sunday. Is that right?
On to Sunday, everybody. The auction is on to Sunday. www.jumblebee.co.uk/First Star Celtic Legends. Look, loads of prizes on there. Kenny Dalglish, Henrik Larsson, Lubo Moravčík, Scott Brown stuff. All the real Celtic legends. So get yourself on there. It's on to Sunday. Bid well for it and you'll get yourself some nice gifts for Christmas. Sid, that's us. Did you enjoy it? Brilliant, huh?
Ant Deck, watch out.
Could stay on here talking shite all night.
I know.
Get that gin. Get the kids though. But look, it's been absolutely amazing, guys. And thanks for everybody for joining it. It's been great. Thank you for all your comments, your feedback. And get out there and buy tickets for the Hydro. June the 3rd. What a night it's going to be. 10,000 people. Davey, any chance of another song to play, is it? Or are you away up the road?
It's still there.
Go on, Davey, give one more.
Celtic, that's a team for me. Celtic on to victory. We're the finest team in Scotland, I'm sure you will agree. We'll never give up till we win the cup in the Scottish Football League. Oh, we're Celtic, that's a team for me. Celtic on to victory. We're the finest team in Scotland, I'm sure you will agree. We'll never give up till we win the cup in the Scottish Football League. They come from Bonnie, Scotland, they come from County Cork, they come from Tyrol, Donegal, and even from New York. From every street in Glasgow, they proudly make their way to a place called Hero Paradise. And this is what they say: oh, we're Celtic, that's a team for me. You Celtic on to victory. We're the finest team in Scotland, I'm sure you will agree. We'll never give up till we win the cup in the Scottish Football League. It's Fallon, Young and Gamble who proudly wear the green. It's Clark, McNeil and Kennedy, the best there's ever been. Jim Johnson, Margaret Chalmers, John Divers and John Hughes. 60,000 Celtic fans who proudly shout the news. Oh, we're Celtic, that's a team for me. It's Celtic on to victory. We're the finest team in Scotland, I'm sure you will agree. We'll never give up till we win the cup in the Scottish Football League. Oh, we're Celtic, that's a team for me. Celtic on to victory. We're the finest team in Scotland, I'm sure you will agree. We'll never give up till we win the cup in the Scottish Football League.
Cheers, folks. We'll catch you all soon. Good night.